Shalom, family. Good to see everyone here. Hope you're all doing well. Well, it's a big trend going on over there on TikTok. And that big trend is leaving MAGA, and a lot of people are talking about cutting off their friends, cutting off family members because they voted for Donald Trump. And some of the people are saying, it's not just voting for Donald Trump, it's what MAGA represents, racism and, and they just hate the entire MAGA ideology. Well, MAGA's not doing so well these days, but I'm not surprised. And you see what's happening to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is falling faster than a rock. I don't know if any of you heard he had some type of cryptocurrency gathering at Mar-a-Lago recently, and people were mad as hell that attended. Apparently, you had to pay $50,000 if you wanted to be in the same room with Donald Trump. And if you paid $1,000,000, you got to have dinner with Donald Trump. So what happened was the people that paid 50,000, first of all, I would never pay $50,000 just to stand in a room with Donald Trump. These people got to be insane. We got the silliest people on earth with all the money. That's what's wrong. So anyway, they said the ones that paid $50,000, they did see Donald Trump in a room. Donald Trump did not talk to one living soul that paid $50,000. He pretty much ignored those people. Can you imagine paying that much money and Donald Trump ignores you? They said the only one he paid a little bit of attention to were the ones that paid $1 million. He paid attention to them. But the ones that paid $50,000, he ignored. And they were mad as hell. To add insult to injury, the dinner they served, they said was nasty. The food was nasty. It was not good at all. And I saw that little dinner plate they had. And man, that stuff did not look appetizing at all. And they said it wasn't. They said the food was nasty, what Donald Trump served. Let me see if I can I'm going to see if I can find that plate. But they said the people that went said they walked away hungry. It was hardly nothing on the plate. Well, see, y'all were dumb enough to go there and spend your money. I just don't feel sorry for you. You already know Donald Trump is a con man, right? He's a con artist. And that's all, so he put together this flimsy crypto dinner. They said it was not enough. It was like a little smidgen of food. And people were very upset. Said they ate the food and still was hungry. So to add insult to injury, they said Donald Trump gave a very quick speech, and boarded a plane and left. And the people were just there together, and Donald Trump boarded a plane and left out of there. Didn't even stay the whole evening with the people. I said, well, why should he stay? Y'all gave him all that money and he was out of there. I mean, how dumb can you be? You already know what kind of con artist. Donald Trump is a con artist. If you don't know that by now, you just don't want to know. It's just like the people that invested in his crypto just before his inauguration, and they lost every dime. And Donald Trump, I think, gained like $5 billion. And his supporters that paid into the crypto, they lost all of their money. I mean, he's a con artist. I mean, how many times has somebody got to tell you? So I got some videos from TikTok where the trend hashtag leaving MAGA is going through the roof over there. There's so many videos coming out about people admitting they've cut their families off, they cut their friends off, and some said they not even forgiving the ones that voted for Donald Trump and then turned around and regret it. They said they don't care about those folks. All right, so let me share and we can get started. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
We're all asking ourselves the same question. You know the question you've probably asked yourself today. Is it finally time to cut MAGA Republicans out of our lives? Coming into the holidays where so many of the people who are going to be doing the planning and the cooking and the cleaning just got thrown under the bus, we find ourselves where we're asking these people and all the other reasonable people, once again, to dig deep and find empathy for the people who just voted against all of our rights. We've done this before. We did this in 2016. We did it all through 2020. Now we find ourselves in the same position. Kim Scott coined the term ruinous empathy in a book called Radical Candor a few years ago. The theme of the book was that in order to actually help somebody, you have to care deeply and also challenge directly. We've cared deeply for the better part of 10 years. And I think in the process, we've trained these people to believe that we will tolerate anything. The basic social contract is simple. I'll take care of you if you take care of me. But these people, they wrongfully believe that gas prices and egg prices are somehow going to magically go down, and that even if they do, that outweighs the fact that they just voted against half the population. At what point do we stop just caring deeply and we start challenging directly? I think this point.
I'm still mad. But what's making me happy right now is seeing the MAGA lovers lose it. They're losing it because we are taking back our friendship. And that includes family as well. Not only are they losing the emotional support system that we usually provide, but they're losing the financial support system too. That to me is unreal. And I'm going to continue on the trajectory because honestly, we offer a lot. Being liberal means that we're caring, we're bleeding hearts, right? We really want to know how you're doing. We bring in intellectual conversations. We're highly intelligent. We are like so bright and vibrant, lots of joy. And you're going to lose that because have you been around a bunch of MAGAs? Yeah, I have. And well, they're just not my cup of tea. This is the same reason why you guys have difficulty in dating. This is the same reason why Republican men in Washington, D.C. is saying we can't find it. We're afraid to tell people my political party that I voted for Trump. That's going to continue to be an issue. That's why you had to create your own app to find like minded people, but it continued to fail because really, honestly, who wants a misogynistic man? Who wants a man that wants to take women's rights? Her body, your choice. So I'm loving it. You guys continue the same way. We know what we offer. Goodbye.
Is hating Trump more important than the relationship you have with your friends and family?
Let me help you out. You guys think that we just hate Trump and that if we cut off friends and family who are avid Trump supporters, it's not logical. It's just because we hate Trump. For no reason, we just hate the guy. That we don't have a logical, rational reason that we arrive to that conclusion. And you think that because it's projection, because you've been programmed to think that everything bad in your life is Democrats. You hate Joe Biden. You hate Kamala Harris. And you blindly defend Trump. Members of my own family post things on Facebook like, I'm voting for Donald J. Trump, and if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out of here. So is their love for Donald Trump enough to cut off friends and family? Yes, it is. So now let me explain our angst with Donald Trump. He hates people. If you're in the LGBTQIA plus community, he hates you, with a special emphasis on trans people. He especially hates trans people. He hates poor people. Every economic policy he's ever passed has always benefited the upper class, with minimal to no benefits to the middle or lower classes. He helps corporations, but not the workers that work in those corporations. Fuck the working class. He hates women. He absolutely hates women. He objectifies them. He wants to take away their reproductive freedoms. He talks down to them. He hates women. He's xenophobic. When he first took office in 2016, Muslim ban. His current platform he's running on, mass deportation, based on a mythical crisis at our southern border, which will only disproportionately disaffect Hispanic Americans and Hispanic people in America. If you're not a Christian nationalist, a white Christian nationalist, Trump hates you. And that kind of hate and vitriol, and plus the doom and gloom that he preaches, we're tired of it. And if you're voting for him, you're voting for that hate and vitriol. And a lot of people don't want that in their lives. Nobody's cutting their friends and family off just because they hate Trump. We just choose to stand in solidarity with our fellow Americans. And rather than cut entire groups of people off and blame all of our problems on them, we choose to come together as humans.
What do you think of the trending hashtag right now, leaving MAGA?
Leaving MAGA. First of all, you should have been in it in the first place. All right, it shouldn't even have been a thing. It's the stupidest thing ever. Second, hashtag leaving MAGA. No. You don't get to fuck this up and just walk away. No, get back in there, make this shit right. Unfuck what you fucked. All right? You fucked us all the way. Now unfuck it. That's your job now. Leaving MAGA. No, you wanted to be in it? Stay in it. Enjoy it. It's your fault. We're here now. Unfuck it. You fucked it up. Unfuck it. Make it right. Or you can't? Then you should have left it to the fucking people who really knew what they were doing in the first place. Dumbasses.
Hey, everybody. It's Rich coming to you here at leavingmaga.org. You know, we just had a new newsletter that went out in which we entitled it, This is What Tyranny Looks Like. When I was in the MAGA community, my belief was that we were fighting tyrants who posed existential threats to our lives, our livelihoods, our country, and our family. That's what I believed, and I believe that anyone who was not with MAGA was such a threat. Didn't matter if they were Democrats or Republicans or conservatives, didn't make a difference. If you weren't with us, you were against us. And if you weren't 100% with us, you were 0% with us. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of this newsletter. Make sure you're subscribing, making sure you're getting all of our updates. Make sure you're following us on our socials here at TikTok, also on YouTube. As always, appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great day.
Completely cut them out of your life for going MAGA, yes or no?
Every last one of them. And it was fucking freeing. You know, when you lose people out of your life, there's a mourning period, not when they're fucking maggots. Mm-mm. The second I see that red hat or the second I see that sign in your yard, you are so fucking dead to me and my entire family. It's freeing. And if you're wondering right now, like why all of a sudden you're feeling really alone, it's because of your red hat or your sign in your yard or your Facebook posts spreading love and support for the orange ball sack. Okay, I love it. I hope it doesn't change because it definitely shows me exactly who you are. I wish that everyone would go around wearing something, you know what I mean? So I know who to be nice to and who to not. Yeah, I think that would be best in just to go forward. You know what I mean? Just go to Costco. I always wear something, you know, that says I'm not a dick. And when I see someone wearing their MAGA hat, I know you're a dick. So
my parents voted for Trump and I'm not talking to them right now. My brother voted for Trump and I'm not talking to him right now. And some of you might think that's extreme, but here's the thing. I mentioned in a video a while back that comfort is the cost for change. It is extremely uncomfortable for me to distance myself from my parents, particularly because they are 82 and 85. My brother, he's living his life. He thinks he's more pure and delightsome than dark and loathsome. So that's its own thing. And if any of my nieces and nephews are watching this, it is what it is. Right. 2025 is the year of the crash out for me. So get ready. In any case, I am not speaking with my parents right now. They called me shortly after my birthday because right after the election, I shared in a family group chat. I said, you know what you did? Don't contact me unless I contact you first. If there's an emergency, contact a sibling. I'm sharing this with you because I see people saying, oh, well, it's going to take time. We have to be nice. There, you take your time, I'll take my space, right? So I haven't talked to them. They did call me after my birthday. And I how did they call me, you might ask, because I blocked them, right? I didn't block my mother. Um, when I say I'm going to visit family, I'm going home. I usually say, "Hey, I'm going to visit my mom." My mom has a special place in my heart for many reasons. I could say a million good things about her, but that does not negate the reality of the present situation. Some of you may think so because you grew up in a reality, a world in which the things people have done absolve them from the things they are doing, and that's not the reality I live in. I live in a reality where I accept accountability for the things I do, and I hope to have people in my life who are willing to be accountable as well. Now, on this phone call, I, what do you call it, fond? I didn't respond much. I was very level, neutral. For the astrology people out there, I'm not really an astrologist, but I'm a Scorpio, if that means anything. Yes, I fall into some of those characterizations. I'm very passionate and I tend to wear my emotions on my sleeve. People who know me can usually tell where I'm at. And so on this phone call, my father said to me, are you okay? How are you doing? I said, I am not okay. I'm not okay. And I started getting passionate. Why aren't you okay? I said, I cannot believe you voted for that man. I cannot believe you voted for that man. Do you see who he put in for consideration? Are you paying attention? See, when people go down the MAGA pipeline, they leave reality. They leave reality, and yes, my parents are still Mormon, and they're not dumb people. See, MAGA supporters tend to fall into two categories for me: people who are uneducated or uninformed, but people who are educated but what's the word, deluded, right? In the sense that excusing the behavior of this man is a departure from reality. We can argue policy, we can argue um, Keynesian economics versus modern monetary theory all day. That's one thing, right? Kamala compared to Donald, in my opinion, not even close. The shaming of Kamala compared to recognizing verifiable events, things that this man did, is completely diluted. I don't trust her because she speaks differently to black people and white people. I don't trust her because she, anyhow. So I'm just saying that before y'all keep commenting. Anyhow, so as the phone call keeps going on, I said, I'm not okay. I'm upset. I'm upset because you ruined my kid's future. You ruined the boy's future. You made a choice. My father goes, well, I'm 85, and as I've told you before. I said, because what he was going to do was an appeal to authority based on his age and say how he's lived through this or that. I have a photo of my parents wearing fucking dashikis, my dad smoking a spliff, a joint. They're having a good time, conversation. The energy of that photo, the light, the life is something I never experienced because of Mormonism. Don't tell me, don't tell me that you have experience with this or whatever. You have fallen and slipped down that path of disillusionment. So again, the two camps, right? Uneducated, underinformed, educated, delusion. My parents have always prided themselves, uneducated, on being informed. They stressed education to us. They made sacrifices for us, which I'm forever grateful for. But again, that does not negate the reality of the choice that they made, that they support a man who is willing to get rid of the Department of Education, whether he's joking or not joking. You elected someone who lied to your face. A known quantity, if you will. Sure, I get that there's some value there. Well, at least we know he's lying. See, anyhow, I'm probably going to make some more videos, but back to the phone call. ADHD. I said, you made a selfish choice. You didn't even care. You didn't care. You did not care. I have to hang up now, is what I said. I have to hang up now. I'm too upset. Boop. I've not talked to them. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not gonna pretend that this is an easy thing, especially when you are the only person in your family who says anything about this stuff, expresses disapproval, draws a line, and says, no, enough is enough. And I don't want to hear anything about, well, we live in Utah, we live in a red state, so it would make a difference. It would make a difference if you fucking tried. If everybody tried, it would make a difference. Now, I realize this problem, this issue, this level of delusion that 77 million people or so have supported is an upward hill to climb. Upward hill. That's redundant. But it's daunting to think that we can change these people's minds. But what I'm not going to do is allow people in my life to play without consequence and have access to me and my energy and time and all of that. That might be for you, but it's not for me. It's an isolating and lonely place to be, but here we are. And the next step for me is I'm going to write my parents a letter, tell them how I feel. Then we can begin the process of building a relationship because, again, no one is telling them. No one is talking to these people because you rather have your pumpkin pie and your glazed ham and the good times and access to the wealth when your folks die than keeping it real.
So Trump supporters that have flipped don't get a pass from me. And I know that's not a popular opinion. A lot of people want to forgive and forget. I see all sorts of fuck around and find out videos being posted where people are explaining how they found out and they're being embraced. And now they want to have open dialogue with everybody. So while I respect people that want to embrace them and I'm not going to give you a hard time, I am not one of those fucking people. Because every single one of those fuck around and find out videos where people are converting and leaving MAGA has to do with them personally feeling the results of their vote. In other words, until it affected them personally, they were ready to vote for Trump. You see where I'm going here? Zero empathy for people around them unless it affected them. Yeah, so they can just eat a dick. Where's the accountability? At some point, a motherfucker has to suffer for making the mistakes that they made, don't they? How are they ever going to learn their fucking lesson if they were like, oh, well, you know, hey, I burned down the country with my vote, but, oh, that's okay. Man, fuck you. There's this one farm dude out there posting all sorts of shit and getting a lot of traction, right? Because he found out, he signed up for some big federal program that he wanted to participate in. And in order to do that, he had to invest and spend all sorts of money to get his farm ready to do whatever the fuck they wanted him to do. And then Trump goes and rips this shit out from under him. And now he's like, what the fuck? Right? I voted for Trump. I didn't know. The thing is right now he wants to have open dialogue with people. And when people come to him and say, well, you should have known, he's like, well, I'm out in the country. We don't see the news. And anytime I saw social media, which I never do, all I see is right saying left and left saying right and everyone arguing. How am I supposed to know? I'm a farmer. I'm not a political scientist. But then out the other side of his mouth, now he wants to have an open dialogue. So he criticizes anyone questioning his fucking decision, but he wants to have an open dialogue now. Anybody that wants to talk about this and what it really means, let's have that chat. But if all you're going to do is attack me, you can move on. Motherfucker, fuck you. Because the only reason now you give a shit and now you want to have open dialogue is because it affects you personally. You could have fucking had all this open dialogue before you fucking cast your vote like an idiot. And you only give a shit because you were affected. The whole fucking current country is burning around you. Marginalized people are being attacked. And we're supposed to give a fuck about you because you were affected in your fucking farm? No, you vote for Trump, fuck you. We don't need your ass. Personally, I'm going after the 88 million people that didn't vote, and I'm rallying the troops around the fucking common enemy that is that. Now, in the future, after you've repented and maybe spent the fucking next 10 years groveling, asking for forgiveness and doing everything you can to support marginalized communities, maybe then we'll think about forgiving your stupid ass. In the meantime,
fuck these Nazi pricks. Who the fuck do they think they are?
People keep saying don't let politics ruin friendships or relationships. Y'all are missing the bigger picture here. I am not upset with you for being a Republican. I am not upset with you for having a different political view than me. I am upset, however, that racism wasn't a deal breaker for you, that homophobia wasn't a deal breaker for you, that sexual assault wasn't a deal breaker for you. 34 felonies was not a deal breaker for you. And that is a deal breaker for me.
Well, I guess it's time to throw some family under the bus, kind of. For any MAGA or even my family members who might be watching because they got blocked on everything else, let me shed some insight onto why me personally am going zero contact with most of my family, and maybe why other people are doing the same. And it needs to be known, at least from where I'm standing, that, you know, being sore losers, the fact that Donald Trump won, is not the reason why some of you are being cut off. See, what happened was after Trump said that liberals were the enemies within and he wouldn't mind the National Guard and military taking care of us, I was about 80% ready to cut off anyone who would vote for someone who was okay with saying that, because that's my life. That's my husband's life, my daughter's life, my parents' life. If you don't care and would vote for someone who is okay with taking me out, then I want nothing to do with you. What made my decision 100% clear was after the hate rally at Madison Square Garden and all the things that were said there and how it resembled a Yahtzee rally. After that, I was like, nope, we're not doing it. I'm not talking to anyone, any family that votes for this man ever again. They are not a safe place for us. They're not safe people for us to be around, period. And here's some things within my own family that I'll never get. There are people in my family who have had shishmortions, or who have supported other people having shishmortions, or have paid for those shishmortions, and now they are voting for Donald Trump and posting things like this on their social media. It was hypocritical bullshit I've ever seen. Within my own family, we had someone who wanted to date or marry someone who was a felon, who had SA charges against him in the past, heavily discouraged this person from being with this felon and person who had SA charges. They were just so upset and so distraught over the possibility of this being in our family, but then we'll turn around and vote for someone to run the whole country who has had, 34, 36 convicted felonies, and who has been accused by multiple women of SA. Make it make sense. Or just the fact that a lot of my cousins, I did, when I was first starting out, they rely on things like WIC, food stamps, Section 8 housing, daycare assistance, things of those sorts to help support their family. And my family went out and just voted for someone who wants to terminate a lot of those services. And the crazy part is, the people voting against these services can't pick up the slack for these family members because they're struggling themselves. And then we have people like me who are just cutting them off, and our banks are closed. You can't vote against our human rights. You can't vote against people in our family and expect us to support you after that. And don't even get me started on the ones who are still on assistance and voted for him. I have grandparents on both sides who voted against their own Social Security because Trump doesn't care about protecting their Social Security checks that come every month. And again, the people who could help, the bank might be closed. And beyond the hypocritical parts of it all, I have a couple of people within my family I know that are a part of the LGBTQIA plus community that are not publicly out because of our family. So think about this. Any family who's watching, how would I know that information and you wouldn't? You're not a safe place. Y'all aren't safe people to come out to. And I can't be around that anymore. Me and my nuclear family, my household has to be around safe people. I can no longer be around people who are nice to my face and behind my back are voting against my best interest, my human rights, my daughter's human rights, and I can no longer play nice with people who are more concerned about my salvation than who I am as a person, than getting to know the real me. There's a lot of members of my
I'm leaving MAGA. Why I'm leaving MAGA. I regret my vote. You don't actually regret your vote. You just regret that your vote is now negatively affecting you. You knew that your vote was going to negatively affect some people, and you didn't care then because there's a little bit of a bait and switch with Trump, right? A little bit being, I would say, egg prices and food costs. But aside from that, he's doing everything he said he was going to do. You just didn't think it was going to affect you. But you were okay with it affecting everybody else. Didn't care that he was a convicted felon because it didn't affect you. And it's wild to think that you would think this man wouldn't lie to you, even though he's a convicted felon. That's crazy. And you also didn't seem to care that he was obviously not qualified for the job anymore. And like, listen, I'm glad that you regret who you voted for. You should regret it. But I also think it's really important to do just like a little bit of inner work and ask yourself why you didn't care before. This awful feeling that you're feeling now, your livelihood being affected, how awful that feels, and watching other people that it hasn't affected yet, because it will, them not caring that you're affected. The thing is, we tried to warn you. We tried. Hopefully we get to have another vote. Who knows? It seems as though our government is slowly falling apart, so we may not. Important to remember that billionaires do not have your best interests in mind. They have never and will never have your best interests in mind.
People aren't ending their friendships or relationships with you because you voted for Trump. They're ending those relationships because they don't like you. And Trump was the last straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. I shouldn't speak in absolutes. I can't say nobody does this, but the vast majority of people aren't going to stop talking to you over politics. The reason why is because the value you bring to their relationship with you is greater than the value you've taken away by the way you voted. Think of relationships a little bit like a bank account, right? The amount of deposits have to override the amount of withdrawals for that relationship to have any value. So if people are cutting their ties with you because of the way you voted, it's more likely that you've been running a net negative for a while and you just made another withdrawal. So they may say it's because of the election, but it's more likely that it's your vote and the way you're acting about your vote has made them realize what that bank account balance is. And they're just like, well, maybe we should just close this account. Oh, if somebody has stopped talking to you over this, you have the choice. You can either berate them for being closed-minded and bigoted, or you can look inward and ask why your vote was so much of a deal breaker in your relationship. And remember that friendship isn't obligatory, and all friendship should come with happiness. That's what having friends is for. So if you're not bringing happiness, you can't expect to be friends. The only thing more sad than being alone is being sad amongst your friends.
Okay, y'all. I don't know. I don't know if Donald Trump is worth you not speaking to your family. I don't know. I don't think he's worth all of that, in my opinion. All right, hold on. Stop sharing. Okay, something crazy happened here. Okay. Let me just go over here. Okay, so the bottom line is I don't understand how people can just stop talking to somebody because that person voted for Donald Trump, but this is what's happening all over the country. There are people that have stopped talking to coworkers, family members, friends, neighbors. It's I didn't realize how big it was. I mean, this thing is literally trending over there on TikTok. And every time I go look, it's just more and more videos on this particular topic. And this all got started by a man that voted for Donald Trump, and he regretted voting for Donald Trump, and he started the hashtag leaving MAGA. So that's how this whole trend got started, from somebody who did vote for Donald Trump, and then he did not like the things that Donald Trump has been doing since becoming the sitting president again. But wow, what difference does it make now? He is the sitting president for the next 4 years. So does it really matter that people stop caring about Donald Trump? I don't know. I don't know. I do know one thing. If you did vote for Donald Trump, chances are I probably wouldn't trust you. I certainly don't trust your judgment putting this man back in office. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to have to go out and come back in. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. My screen kind of froze, and that's why I had to go out and come back in. So, thank you, G. Bowman Jr., for the 14-month membership. He that builds his house with other men's money is like one that gathers himself stones for the tomb of his burial. Yeah. Sirach 21, verse 8. It's okay, the Sefer. Okay. Ecclesiasticus. Thank you. All right. Y'all, I tell you what, I was just reflecting back on what this year has been like. And boy, what a crazy year this has been. And it's not even halfway over. That's the worst part. But I guess we'll make it through the best that we can. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, you know what I was more interested in, more so than who voted for who, is how divided everybody is over the Donald Trump vote. This country is very divided. And it's to the point where it's not only divisions by race, it's a lot of divisions within the same race of people. It's a lot of divisions, big time. Hmm. Yeah, Donald Trump's presidency makes one day seem like 1 year. It feels like, I mean, man, it feels so crazy. It's like you don't know what to expect from one day to the next. It's so inconsistent. Uh-huh. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely stay prayed up. Misha Williams, I definitely agree with that. Stay prayed up because this place is so out of control. It's not even funny. Hi, shalom, CC. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But those divisions are going to get greater because Donald Trump, I'm sure he's got more tricks up his sleeves. I mean, it seemed like, wasn't it around this time last week we were talking about President Ramaphosa being up at the Oval Office, and Donald Trump called himself trying to ambush him. And even to this day, I was looking at a program this morning and they were analyzing that stack of photos that Donald Trump had, and they were pointing out a variety of different ones that said that was the Congo, that was not in South Africa. But Donald Trump don't care about accuracy. He don't care. He does not care at all. Mhm. Well, Donald Trump is just being himself. Is he the same president from 2016? Hell no. We can definitely see he's very different. And plus, Elon was not around him back then. Elon is around him now. You know. You know what I find amazing? Melania hasn't done one thing as first lady, and nobody is saying a thing. Nothing about it. When was the last time we even seen Melania? I think the last time I saw she was at the inauguration. Was she around after that? They said when I was looking at the news over the weekend, they said she wasn't even in Washington for the last, I guess, several weeks. She got a home down in Florida, and it's not at Mar-a-Lago. She don't live at Mar-a-Lago. She actually got her own house separate from Mar-a-Lago that she stays at. And from what I understand, from what I was reading, that's where she's been practically the entire time. She hasn't been in Washington at all with Donald Trump. You don't even see her. So she's not working as the first lady. She ain't working as the first lady at all. She's just chilling out at her house down there in Florida. That's all she's doing. Mhm. But it's funny how she can be gone for several weeks and nobody notices a thing. Nobody notices that she's not even doing any work as the first lady. She's not doing nothing. But pardon me, they run around here calling us lazy, right? She is the poster child for lazy. Mm-mm-mm. She's getting, the first lady also gets something. When Barack Obama, and y'all can look this up, and when Michelle Obama left, they got $60 million apiece. That's what they left at for him doing 2 terms in office. They gave her $60 million and they gave Obama $60 million when they left the White House. See, if that's given out, that's probably going to be the second time you see Melania. you won't see her for the next 4 years, but if money is given out at the end, she going to miraculously crop up and get that money. She ain't going to miss out on. She going to suddenly remember where Washington D.C. is, and she going to get off of that plane to collect that money. That's what she going to do. I guess what should we expect from a woman who um what was her slogan? Be best. Be best. So I can't expect nothing good from that person. Come on. All right, y'all. So look, I guess we're gonna see these people that regret voting for Donald Trump, y'all. I'm sorry, I don't feel nothing for these people. and I do agree. The only reason why they're saying something is because, they're feeling the pain of voting for Donald Trump. That's all. She's going to divorce him once his term is over. No, let me take that back. She did show up with Donald Trump at the Pope's funeral. I think that was the last time we saw Melania, was at the Pope's funeral. She was there with Donald Trump. But prior to that, we didn't see her. And we certainly don't see her now. So, but like I said, if they say, Melania, you're going to be getting money, she'll all of a sudden know how to get to Washington, D.C. and be the first lady. Y'all, please enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll definitely be back for another live stream on a different topic. But I do have a premiere coming up at 8:00. And what it's about is all these college towns are suddenly drying up in America. And the businesses there that usually have a lot of traffic from the college students, they are not getting that. In fact, some of them are barely holding on to business, and the students are just not there. People are not enrolling in college like they used to. So all of the businesses that are around the colleges, they're all suffering now. Nobody coming in their coffee houses and restaurants and, pizzerias and all those places that are around college campus. Well, those businesses are now all suffering. So I got that coming up at 8:00. So I hope to see many of you there. Please enjoy your evening. Shalom, family.